Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio. So today we've got some new stuff that's gone and been revealed over in Japan. And when I say revealed over in Japan, what I really mean is it's been listed over on Japanese websites. And just to be clear, when we're talking about listed on Japanese websites, we're not talking about unscrupulous things or anything silly like that. No. What we mean is these are places that have listed it before and they've proven to be very reliable, and it's stuff we can take pretty seriously. We got listings on PlayAsia. We've used this site for a while. I actually ordered many years ago. I ordered the illustration book off of PlayAsia. Got myself that amazing promo that now is worth a lot more than what I paid for the book. And now they're often the first site over in Japan that are listing these new sets and new products, which is useful for us because when it's been listed on a site like PlayAsia, generally speaking, we can look at it and go, oh, yeah, this is legit. This isn't some kind of like random rumor mill or anything silly like that. This is legit. This is happening. We are delighted. And it's all actually to do with Mega Pokemon. You see, what we've got a couple of decks, which we're going to get to in a minute. But what we've got here are two expansion packs, Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia, both of which are listed for release on the 1st of August, which I know sounds like a placeholder date. First or last day of the month often uses a placeholder date, but of course that is actually a Friday, so it seems to be definitely legit. And this is the Lucario and Gardevoir sets. Like, I don't think there's anything particularly controversial here. Does anyone think they could possibly be anything else? I don't. This is the Gardevoir and Lucario sets. Bearing in mind, if you think about the name, Mega Symphonia certainly sounds a bit like Gardevoir now, doesn't it? And Mega Brave certainly sounds a bit like Lucario. So, and that's not guaranteed, of course, but it really sounds like what we've got here are the Gardevoir and Lucario sets. As a side note, we know that Lucario and Gardevoir are coming as, basically the mascots of separate sets over in Japan. Because over in Japan, they've actually shown us a set symbol, and Gardevoir is M1S, and Lucario is M1L. So yeah, that's what we've got here. We have got ourselves, and we know they're actually 63 card sets because it says it on Gardevoir and Lucario. Although again, when we say 63 cards, we mean 63 plus any secret rares and all of that, which we're going to be getting. So not necessarily surprising per se, but that doesn't mean it's not exciting. We have a release date here of the 1st of August, and for what it's worth, that pretty much tells us it's going to be our November set. Because it's too early, honestly, for it to be our August set. So that kind of tells you what you need to know. It's going to be our November set. There's going to be Megas. And this is going to be the Lucario and Gardevoir set. We don't know anything else about which Pokemon are being featured. We don't know a huge amount else, unfortunately. Although there are, like I say, some other products which we can have a look at in a moment. But for now, we know it's 30 packs in a box, which is kind of important to know. That is standard for what we see in the Pokemon TCG. So that's pretty good. And we know that it is going to be released on August the 1st, which gives us a date, which again is pretty gosh darned important. And like I say, we know they're going to be Lucario and Mega Gardevoir sets. Now, for me personally, I am very excited about Mega Gardevoir. I think Mega Gardevoir is awesome because we've got an attack which accelerates 1 psychic energy to each of your Pokemon. Don't love that because it's a stage 2. By the time I evolve into my stage 2, I want to be set up, not, setting up. But then we've also got single energy, 50 damage for each psychic energy attached to all of your Pokemon. Yes. And as far as I'm concerned, this fits very, very naturally into a Gardevoir deck. Because we know that Gardevoir is still a thing, like the one from Scarlet and Violet still in rotation. We're already playing the evolution line. Remember that Megas evolve up, and it's weird, and I know I'm not the only one that's pointed this out, but it's weird seeing Mega EX evolve from a stage 1. Like, going Curlier into Mega Gardevoir seems so weird to me, because even in the video game, you have Gardevoir and then you Mega Evolve. It feels off, but I know that's the way they're doing it. So I think this fits naturally into a Gardevoir deck. As for Lucario, single energy, 130, accelerate 3 energy, certainly not too bad. 2 energy, 270 on a free prize Pokemon, not loving it. Remember, of course, these are free prize Pokemon. That is kind of a thing. But there's 2 other products which have gone and been revealed. The first of which is Mega Starter Set Mega Gengar EX. Yeah. That sounds pretty good to me, ladies and gentlemen. That sounds pretty good to me. What we're going to have here is just a pre-constructed deck. It is going to be a deck with Mega Gengar coming in. And of course, it's kind of funny because remember when Gengar V Max came out? That was in its own deck over in Japan. That was a thing. Pokemon apparently like putting Gengar into these kind of products. I don't really blame them, incidentally. It seems like a sensible thing to do. People apparently love it. Now, it is worth noting that deck did actually have kind of it's like a 1 in 10 chance or something of having the illustration rare, or the alternate art, call it what you will. There's no suggestion that's going to happen again, but that's, something to bear in mind. Mega Gengar, of course, we did get before. One of the interesting things we're going to be looking at as we go through this whole EX block, or the Mega EX block, is going to be whether we get new Mega EXs, get Mega versions of Pokemon that never got a Mega before. Well, Gengar absolutely does count. We actually got the regular, and then we got the full art, and then we got the shiny promo. They're all the same card. But what we had last time was Hollow Geist. Just let you choose one of your opponent's Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. It was a cool attack. It was nice. We liked it. And it did see a bit of play here and there. Mega Gengar, it wasn't exactly the best card ever, but it did see a bit of play. And it's worth noting that regular Gengar EX was not too shabby. Again, I'm not going to sit here and claim that this was like a top deck that saw a huge amount of play. I'm not, because it wasn't. But I am telling you it was a fun little deck that I saw people play around with. It's going to be a pre-constructed deck of some description, but we don't really know a huge amount of it. Sorry. But then we've also got Mega Starter Set Mega Diancie EX. Oh. Yeah. That's pretty cool, ladies and gentlemen, because I know a lot of people like Diancie, although, again, it's worth noting that this isn't a new Pokemon. We had Mega Diancie last time round. Was Mega Diancie any good last time round? Not really. Now, we did actually have 2 different Diancie EX. We had a little bit of a choice, and one of them did 20 damage and reduced damage to you next turn. One of them did 80 plus 40 more for each heads from 2 coins. But then we had another one that reduced damage by 30 and did 110 if there was a stadium in play. They weren't great. Mega Diancie did 100, and during your opponent's next turn, all damage done to each of your Pokemon from Pokemon EX was prevented. It was actually a very interesting card indeed, because it kind of gave you immunity from EXs if you could get it rolling and going behind it. I'm not claiming this is some kind of like phenomenal super card, but I'm just saying it was very, very interesting. These are going to be exclusive cards that can only be found in these decks. So think of it kind of like the Marnie and Steven decks that came out in Japan recently. But here's the thing, we don't actually know if that's a great comparison, because the Marnie and Steven decks had a bunch of new cards in. A bunch of new cards. So you had yourself Marnie's Grimmsnarl and Steven's Metagross, but then you also had a bunch of others and an exclusive illustration rare in each. So I'm not suggesting it's necessarily going to be like that. It may well be that it's going to be far more along the lines of the Sylveon and Ceruledge decks, whereby they came around with exclusive EXs. But then again, even those, they did have their own... They had their own ace specs in. So lately, these decks over in Japan, they have had a bunch of other stuff in there. They have tended to come through with some other cards as well as just the EXs. We're going to have to wait and see as to exactly which form these take. But either way, that's still pretty cool. I should add that these are due for release on the 5th of September. So these are actually coming like a month beyond the set as a whole. There is one other product which is coming out actually on the 1st of August with the set. And what we've got is the Trainer Box, Premium Trainer Box Mega. I'm imagining it's going to be something along the lines of like the deck building set that we saw previously. Came out with Battle Partners. No guarantee. It's going to be something along those lines. I don't think it's going to actually end up being a huge set like that. It's probably going to have some packs and a bunch of reprinted cards, but no exclusive cards. That's what these things tend to be over in Japan. So there we go. We've got listings for these mega things, and frankly, I'm a little bit excited. I am ready for the mega era to start in the Pokemon TCG, and it looks like we now have a date, August the 1st, and news of more Pokemon which are going to be coming. So if you're a Diancie fan or a Gengar fan, well, have I got wonderful news for you. But now I've told you what I can, so now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you're excited about in terms of these products. Tell me which Pokemon you want to be coming through as Megas. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Get us! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.